And I'm still like, and parts of it's so dumb that it makes me wonder if I'm dumber. Because whenever I'm like, why don't I understand this? I'm like, am I an idiot?
Welcome to another episode of Pajiba, the Pajiba television podcast. I'm Pajiba comedy editor Dan Hamamura. With me, as always, our Pajiba managing editor, Tori Preston.
Hello, Dan.
Hello, Tori. And he's known around Portland as the chicken savior, Dustin Rolls.
Hello, Dan. Hello, Tori.
Hello.
I saved my
Hello.
chickens from a raccoon tonight.
And
From
then
two
you
raccoons.
put him in the oven.
Yes. They were delicious.
Oh man. So you fought off two raccoons barehanded.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
And by that I mean, when I saw the raccoon, I kind of eeked loudly, and I ran back inside and said, "Declan, there's a raccoon in the chicken coop. Come help me."
So you dragged your son
Who loves
into
it? Like
danger.
my kid loves, like, whenever the dog trees a raccoon, he will take his camera and he will go out and he will just take pictures of the raccoons in the tree at night, and all you can see is their creepy fucking little eyes.
Oh, so he's documenting it. He's not helping.
Well, he helped this time by standing next to me while the raccoon ran by us.
Was he standing next to you mostly to make sure that you didn't flee?
I am not sure. I don't know. He's not, he was scared for the chickens, but he wasn't scared of the raccoons. I was mostly scared of the raccoons and didn't really care about the chickens, except that I would have to clean up the mess.
Well, we know that you don't like pets because you're a monster.
Yes.
Yeah. So I understand you not actually caring about the chickens. What is it that scares you about raccoons?
Rabies.
Not their creepy little fingers?
No, it's the rabies.
It's the rabies. I mean, fair enough.
And the fact that these raccoons are aggressive or seem aggressive, and we see them out in the day a lot.
They go out in the day.
I know, but they could have rabies if they're out in the day. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like when you're like, I used to see them in Brooklyn because they would crawl on like fire escapes. Yeah. So I'd be in my backyard and see them like a couple buildings over, just like hanging out on fire escapes, like crawling around. And I'd be like, okay, time to go in before they get to my fire escape and come down. Yeah, I mean, they're out during the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't care for them.
No. Well, I'm sorry that you had that ordeal.
That's fine.
But your chickens and
them
you
in the day. They don't look as scary in the day. They look scary at night.
Yeah. They're not large. You could just kick them.
These particular raccoons are dog-sized. I'm telling you, they're huge. I'm not kidding.
What kind of dog?
What kind?
The size of my dog.
No, your dog is like a lab.
No.
What type of dog is? What is Penny?
There's no way that.
Yeah, she might be a lab mix.
There's no way that those.
No.
Raccoons
this
are
raccoon
not.
Is 50 pounds at least. I'm not kidding. This is the biggest. Ask anyone. This is the biggest fucking raccoon you've ever seen because it's been eating cat food at this dead lady's house for years.
Mm-hmm.
We're a television podcast. Why did it just get so dark? Wait.
Mm-hmm.
They've been eating the cat food at the lady's house prior to her death.
I don't know what they're eating now. So
your chickens.
For our listeners, we had. Oh no, they're not eating the chickens. Next to us I live next to the train tracks, and you often hear the train. On the other side of the train tracks, we had a hoarder who lived there, and her house was half burnt down, and she still lived in it. It was condemned literally in 2007, and somehow she remained in the house despite it being condemned. And then about 2 months ago, she died. I don't know how she died, but I do know that so far they have gone through 4 of those huge dumpsters where they bring the dumpster and they put it in your yard. And these people in white suits from head to toe come over and they just fill the dumpster and then they leave and then they bring back another dumpster.
But to be clear, so this woman was feeding the local raccoon community.
That's correct.
And since her passing, these raccoons have been left to fend for themselves, and they trust humans, so they're just looking for a helping hand.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it could be your hand, Dustin.
Or my hens.
Or your hens, yes. I don't think they're picky. Have you considered getting cat food to distract them from your chickens?
No.
Just saying. Have you considered leaving your car door open and putting some money in your car to help the chickens?
Dustin, I did learn how to get rid of raccoons recently, randomly.
How?
Because I learned this from my landlord the other day, because I had a neighbor who just moved out who had been feeding raccoons, apparently. And so they were living under the structure that she lived in, which is separate from our house. So she just loves animals. She also amassed an army of crows that she fed. Squirrels. The squirrels apparently would get very upset at anyone else and like chatter at you because they're like, where is our food? if they didn't see food. Anyway, these raccoons had decided to take, they're living underneath that particular structure, and the landlord wanted to get rid of them now that she's moved out. And I guess they had to spray. They hired a guy who sprayed raccoon urine of like a different male raccoon, and so the mom raccoon smells that and says, "Oh, there's a new male in town. I need to get out of here. I need to get my babies out of here." So she then like dragged them all out one by one and moved them.
So you're saying
So you need a raccoon pee guy, is what I'm saying.
I see.
I think you could probably mail order it, and you can be your own raccoon pee guy.
That's true. Yeah. We could mail order it for you, Dustin.
We ought to, as friends.
Yeah.
Send me some raccoon urine. All right.
Yes. But like, I mean, you have a pretty big place. We probably ought to send gallons of it.
All right. Look, first thing that comes up on my search, predatorpee.com. Oh, it's from Maine. Oh, it's great. It'll be at your door so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, local 12-ounce bottle of raccoon urine. $30. That's a steal.
Yeah.
For the peace of mind you're going to get.
And supporting a local business to boot.
Yeah.
But how do they collect the raccoon urine?
Like
they probably go to that lady's house.
But you got to like hold it while I don't know how you.
No, it's a squeeze bottle, Dustin.
No. How do you get it into the squeeze? I mean, what do you do? How do you get the pee?
Well, don't worry about that. That's not your problem.
But I'm curious.
You can ask them.
How do you collect? Are you asking how one collects raccoon urine?
Yeah.
Where are they located?
It's
Ken Johnson, founder. Do you know Ken Johnson?
I don't. Maine's not that small.
Oh, they're in Herman. Where's Herman, Maine?
I have no idea. Trump country. You know when the vet asks you to like collect a urine sample for your cat? Have you ever been able to do that?
No, but those are cats.
My vet doesn't ask. She's like, no one can do that.
I'm like, you're just basically charging me for this test that you know I will never, ever bring.
No, but they get the urine themselves.
Yeah.
No. They give me like a collection thing and send me home and say, bring the urine by sometime.
Nah.
It's not happening.
No, my vet collects, like I have to bring the dog urine, but my vet will deal with the cat urine. They know. They don't bother. They're like, there are kits, but like no one successfully gets a cat to pee on a kit.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't work.
Okay. Dustin, Herman is just outside of Bangor, Maine.
Okay. That's.
I mean, I can see on the map where it is. I don't know.
Right.
Anything beyond that.
That's where Stephen King lives.
Oh, okay. So Stephen King probably knows Ken Johnson,
genuinely
the
probably
pea guy.
does. Yes.
Yeah.
So, look, it makes a great Secret Santa gift. A lot of good options here.
It's a little above the Pajiba Secret Santa, but like but I feel like we could for genuine raccoon urine, I feel like we can make the argument that it's worth stretching.
Yeah, Tori, you can also get bear urine if that will help you somehow. Mountain lion, fox, bobcat. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff.
There's a lot of. What are the uses? Is it like, do you get the urine just to scare away the same animal or other animals?
Let's see.
Bear
urine apparently stops dogs from making a mess. Like, it scares dogs away. It doesn't seem to say anything about scaring other bears.
Bears away.
Maybe the bears will just be like, "Oh, good, bears are good."
I wonder what animal, like, if we came full circle and it's like, if you, a human, pissed in your yard, would that scare anything?
The neighbors.
Right.
Apparently, to get rid of bears, you order their wolf urine.
Huh. And again, there's a guy that has to collect that.
Yeah. You can get a 64-ounce growler of wolf urine.
I prefer mine in a Stanley Cup.
Several Stanley Cups. Yeah. We have not talked about television at all.
No,
and that's fine. We also haven't talked about what we're drinking, which we're going to fix now. So
I don't like the urine to drinking segue.
It's fine. It's all liquid. It will all become urine at some point.
All right.
I'm drinking Okinawan beer, not any sort of urine. I don't know. It's my last one, and it's really hot in my office. So, Dustin, what about you?
I'm drinking the usual grapefruit and vodka. Has ice tonight because it's a little warm.
Yeah.
Gonna have to go refill it here in a minute. So if I disappear while you're talking about anime, you know where I'm going.
I also am not drinking urine. I am drinking one of my canned cocktails. This time it is a tropical margarita. It has sparkling water. No, what is it? Tequila, sparkling water, guava, orange, passion fruit, lime, and sea salt in a can.
I'd really like.
It's fine.
Good.
It's good.
I want to change my Greyhound to a Paloma, which would just mean changing to tequila, but I'm afraid of buying. I don't think I've ever bought tequila. I feel like tequila is too much.
Too expensive or like too...
No. Too intense.
Powerful.
Yeah, even though that's all I drink when I go out, I drink Palomas, but at home I drink the Greyhounds. But I feel like I would put too much tequila in my drink.
Well, the good thing, so I feel like the difference between vodka and tequila is that, like, so you've admitted that you've noticed when you pour too much vodka, right?
Yes.
But I feel like there's a limit that, like, you have to really pour too much vodka to really notice it. With tequila, you notice the tequila. Oh. So I feel like it actually, like, the flavor is so strong, like, you'll actually tend toward less. Because the second it's getting to be a bit too much, you can't miss it. Vodka, I feel like, is,
right.
For it to be a problem, you have to really add a lot.
I just feel like tequila is like the next step toward alcoholism somehow.
Well, I think you also might need to not drink giant glasses, multiple of them in one night.
Well, it's just 2, and it's only on podcast night.
Right, because it's vodka. But if you switch to tequila, you're probably going to have 1 pint glass of cocktail.
Okay. Great. Yeah.
And maybe a beer. And then finish it up. But then you finish it up with like a, whatever I say, you're going to be like, oh, is that a green tea? What? Get a Pacifico. Get like a Mexican lager.
All right.
Enjoy it.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
When I run out of this next Costco vodka, I'll switch to tequila.
Maybe don't get, I don't know what the Costco tequila is, but like.
I'm sure it's
I think
pretty
it's
large.
worth. I think it's. I'm sure it's large. I don't know. I think it's worth springing for like a decent tequila, and because it'll
No,
last a while.
I
Because
get.
you're not gonna.
It's not the Kirkland Costco.
Oh, okay.
I get it at Costco. I don't get the Costco brand.
Okay,
I think
gotcha.
that they have Raposa. Is that right at Costco?
Costco brand is also usually not bad.
Yeah.
Like it's not amazing, but
Right.
it's not like bottom shelf.
Yeah. I don't
It's
mean
not
you
like
have to get like the
Rolex.
best tequila, but like
Yeah.
Right.
Get something hawked by a celebrity.
Oh yeah, what was
That's
the
how you
one
know
I
it's
was
quality.
buying? Was it the Rock Dwayne Johnson tequila?
Oh.
Didn't he
Yeah,
have one? And it was not bad. It was fine.
We have some gin, aviation gin that has never been opened, and it's collected dust for maybe 3 years.
Is it because it's gin?
For me, it is. I don't like gin.
I don't like gin.
No, tastes like motor oil.
It
No,
tastes
it
like-
doesn't taste like motor.
No, it tastes like
rubbing
Christmas
alcohol.
trees.
Oh, I hate it.
It's just. I like Christmas trees too, but I don't really want them like
Drink
drowned
it.
in
No.
a bathtub of moonshine. Like it's just weird. Not a gin person. I did have some cocktails mixed with aquafaba this weekend. Do you know what that is?
I don't.
No idea.
It's hold on. It's chickpea juice.
Oh.
It's the viscous liquid found in like
No.
canned or cooked chickpeas. So, but
Oh,
it's
no.
so this bar I went to, like half the cocktails on their menu were made with it. It doesn't. It's only you don't get a chickpea flavor to your cocktails. It's changing the. It's about the texture of the cocktail. So when you sometimes you go to a bar and they'll have like an egg white cocktail.
No, but sure.
You've never had a cocktail with egg whites?
I never. No.
Oh my God, it's delicious. But it's the same idea. It's like it's adding this kind of like thicker, proteiny liquid that it's hard to explain, but it does. It just gives the cocktail a different texture and it's delicious. But I definitely was like ordered one wondering, I'm like, is this going to taste weird? It did not. It tasted great.
Vermont.
I don't think it's a Vermont thing. It's literally, so it's considered like it's the vegan alternative to egg whites. So anything you would do egg whites with, you use aquafaba instead.
That actually makes it easier to understand.
Yeah.
To the California person.
He's from Hawaii.
He lives in LA.
I live in Long Beach.
Okay.
I'm allowed to say that now. It's different. It's different. And I can say that because I live here, even though everyone is like, Long Beach, it's so far away. It's not that far. Anyway, that's not the point. You know what is very far is Australia, which is why we got the terrible news.
Oh my God,
today,
the worst news.
Even though it happened over the weekend, I guess.
Well, the
time
rumor.
differences. Yeah, the rumor. I was trying to make a time zone joke, Dustin.
Okay, sorry.
You ruined my beautiful joke. It would have worked. It would have worked, except that you cut me off. And now I can't do it. Just briefly, I'm a fan of Australian Survivor, as is Dustin, despite the 3 episodes a week, hour plus per episode nature of it.
So much television.
It's so much Survivor, but it is often worth it. But who knows if it will be in the future, because they've fired Jonathan LaPaglia. They fired the host. They said they're going in a different direction. Apparently it's because the ratings have been going down and they want to shake it up. There were some rumors like on Reddit and stuff that he cost a lot, or that like his like he had a lot of demands for like housing and things like that, which I don't know, may or may not be true. But the point is that he's a better host than Jeff Probst at this point, and they're letting him go.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's a bummer, because I do think a lot of the charm of the Australian series has been, at least as I've watched it, has been him as a host, and the fact that he's I don't know, he has a good charm, he has a good like presence, and has not yet made it all about himself the way that it sometimes is on Survivor
That is true.
America.
Yeah.
And he delivers a lot of the same phrases, and yet they still sound somehow distinct to him. I don't know. It's just, he's really good.
And he is not Australian.
He is.
He is Australian.
Yeah. The
Anthony
LaPaglias
are Australian. I didn't know Anthony.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known that
LaPaglia
either.
Yeah.
I assumed he was like New York Italian guy.
Yeah.
No.
Wow.
But they're looking apparently at the guy who won Deal or No Deal Island. Do you know who that is?
So the rumor is that David, I think Jeanette is how you say his last name, or Gannett. So he has been on Australian Survivor twice. He won Australian Survivor All Stars. And then he went on Deal or No Deal Island season 2, and he won that. With actually Parvati was on that season of Deal or No Deal Island. And then now he is also one of the contestants in Australia versus the World, which is like the All-Star Australian Survivor season that's coming up this year.
Yeah.
And that's Jonathan LaPaglia's last season as host officially now. And David is on it as a competitor. Also Parvati's there randomly, so they will
already know each other.
See how because they know each other now. But so the rumor is that he's going to be the host, and he seems nice enough, but I haven't seen anything that would make me think he'd be a good host. Like, I don't know, but there's nothing that he's presented that makes me think, oh, he definitely should be the host.
Right.
But who knows? I don't know.
Well, and I think, Dustin, your point when you wrote it up, it's kind of like, is it the host? Like, I understand wanting to shake something up, but if you're going to shake something up, maybe shake up 3 episodes a week. Like, right. There are other things you can change. But they
film for like 50 days. So how else are they going to get all of that footage in?
You don't.
They compress it into like
air
12 weeks. You could do that, for like 25 weeks.
No one's going to last that long. You got to Big Brother this thing. Just grind.
And that's why I don't watch Big Brother.
Yeah. Nobody has time.
You have time if you're dedicated. Dustin's mouthing something while he's muted.
I think Penny needs something.
Penny needs to go fight a raccoon outside.
Yeah, there's another raccoon. I'm waiting because there's a window that's visible behind Dustin, and I just really am hoping like a raccoon just appears in the window.
Oh, that would be great.
And we will not tell Dustin, but we can screenshot it and show him later.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if all you're watching is that one show, that's great. But some of us, watch television for our jobs. I don't have time to focus wholly. Like, I can barely watch my cartoons as it is between the shows I'm supposed to watch for work.
That's fair. Yeah. And Dan to Dan is coming back.
It is coming back. I am so excited.
Thank you for letting me know, because I had no idea.
I can never keep up on when my my little animes
when I leave,
back.
By the way, I'm still wearing the headphones, so I can hear you.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you know that.
Like the time that you went to the bathroom and we could hear you.
Right.
Yes.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Thank you for the reminder.
Are these headphones new?
No, I don't think so.
Have you had them for a long time?
A few months.
Oh, okay. Well, they look great.
I'm wearing glasses today. That's the difference.
Is it the difference?
I don't think that's true.
You don't normally wear glasses?
I don't think he's wearing glasses.
I never wear glasses unless my contacts are bothering me.
So your contacts are bothering you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, Dustin, you're wearing hats again, which I know you have always been, but also there was a brief time where you were trying not to be a hat guy.
I was trying. It didn't work.
Yeah. All right.
What made you go back to your old ways?
I don't know. I don't feel comfortable with that.
Without a hat.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel like me. Although I'm more comfortable when I'm not wearing a hat, when I can't, if I'm going somewhere or going out or have to wear a suit or something, or going to the synagogue, I'm fine with it. But I'd prefer a hat.
Yeah.
You know, bucket hat goes with pretty much
It
everything.
really does.
So.
Especially
You
one
can't
that
wear a
says
bucket
watching
hat
holes.
and headphones.
You
I
can.
think you could make it work.
It just would, fold down a little bit. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's a statement.
I don't have a good transition. I was going to try to do speaking of statements, but that doesn't work today.
Where are you taking us, Dan?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Okay.
How about 3, 2, 1 countdown?
Yeah.
Oh my
countdown.
God.
I haven't seen it.
I watched it. Dustin watched it. It's not good.
It's ass. It's real shit.
It's so disappointing. Poor Jensen Ackles.
Like
This is the Amazon Prime Jensen Ackles show.
Yes, from Derek Haas, who did 3:10 to Yuma and then all of the Chicago shows.
Yes, and a bunch of the FBI's.
Yeah. So it's
like
weird,
it makes sense that he's the FBI guy.
Yeah.
But it's also hard to believe that. Like, you know how HBO like made The Pit, and you're like, oh, this is cool, an elevated medical drama. And I thought this would be like sort of an elevated procedural, but it's like, I've never seen FBI or a Chicago show, but I can't imagine it's better.
No, I don't think it is. Well, so I had a different read on it because I was expecting it to not necessarily. Because you remember, like 24 came out, and I guess it was a procedural, but it felt. I don't want to say prestige, but it did break the mold in a way where it's like we've got one case, we've got one thing that we're trying to solve. There's a huge threat, and everything is pushing toward that. So you kind of got rid of the case of the week. You got rid of a lot of this stuff. And granted, part of that was because of the structure. You're dealing with a single day. But you had this one thing that the whole season was built on. Countdown is trying to have that, but because they're not doing the time structure, in fact, they have no time structure. You have no sense of how much time lapses. It's just that things take forever, and you're kind of like, why are you making these decisions? There is a terrorist amassing like nuclear materials to bomb bomb Los Angeles. Why are you deciding to take the hard road to getting every bit of information? But yeah, I actually thought it was trying to be something a little different than a standard network procedural, but it's like Haas can't get away from that DNA, so it's all there. So you have this team, and obviously there's like the two members of the task force that are obviously the main cast members, right? It's Ackles and Jessica Camacho.
That sounds right.
I think, yeah. Oh, okay. Their characters. And then there are these other characters. It's a couple of FBI people, a couple of people from, I don't know, whatever, an LAPD guy, whatever. And they have almost no characteristics. But they'll have like weird office. They'll just do stuff around the office, like it's a normal show where they've been hanging out forever. And it's like, you guys just met, and the B plot of this episode is whether to buy somebody a cupcake or a cake for his birthday. And it makes no sense. In a procedural, that would maybe be a funny thing where you knew these characters and whatever. But like, the whole point of this show is like these people are not a team. Like they don't know each other. They haven't had a chance to get to know each other. They're not going to work together forever. And there are bigger things going on than like having a friendly workplace. So why? It just felt so out of place. And a lot of the character beats are things like that, where it's like, yeah, if this were a normal procedural, I could see you doing that, but it doesn't work in this context. Like, I feel like the show should be something else, and it isn't that.
I think you need to explain. I think the wrinkle that they think maybe elevates it or makes it different or somehow, which is that Jensen has terminal brain cancer.
Okay, is that really a wrinkle?
I mean, for a procedural, you usually don't start out with
Yeah.
a guy with terminal brain cancer.
I mean, I guess. So, yeah, I mean, I guess it's a bold choice. It also is sort of like, I guess is this a one-off? Like, how are you gonna bring him back? So basically, it's kind of, you've got this like detective will do anything, and he goes undercover. He's been in prison for 9 months working undercover. He's like the really like edgy guy. He's like the roguish kind of whatever. And then you find out that he's got terminal brain cancer, and you're kind of like, okay, well, there's a bit of like, I've got a death wish. This could be my last gig. Like, I'll do, like, he really will put his life on the line, because his life is already, like, he kind of no longer cares about anything. So it's for his character at least, and obviously Ackles plays it very well, because that's still an extension of, I think it's essentially what he did all throughout Supernatural.
Right.
It's like the guy who's basically a Boy Scout, but like is willing to die, knows he could die at any time, and is going to keep doing the right thing. Like, it's very squarely, it's perfect for him. And I guess it is interesting.
Kind of. I mean, it doesn't really make the character more interesting, except he has like, blurry vision sometimes and headaches. And you're like, oh, yeah. Okay. I'm sure that'll progress maybe until they find a magical cure.
Yeah, they'll find a cure. But it's also that thing of like, there could be situations where he's either going to take risks he wouldn't normally do because he kind of thinks he's not going to survive anyway, or he's going to have some sort of episode at a crucial moment, which means he's like, his team doesn't realize how unreliable he is at this juncture. So, but like saying all of that and acting like it's like laying it out as some sort of twist makes it sound like it's interesting or has bearing on the show. And I feel like that's a stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's giving the show a lot of credit. And other than that, yeah, it's a lot of characters who really have no defining characteristics other than what department they came from.
Right.
And every episode is a different excuse for one or the other character, or both, to go undercover in a scheme to, like, it's like, there is a person we need to get information from in order to track down who could be doing this thing with materials. So we'll have to go undercover, because if we bring them in for questioning, they're just going to shut up. So we need to like make them comfortable. So we got to like go undercover. But undercover work requires vast amounts of time. And so like it's like, again, it's the opposite of a ticking clock. Like it's a show that wants to be 24, but also wants to do all this undercover stuff. So the undercover bits need to be wrapped up in an episode, because it's not something, they're not doing one undercover mission for the season.
Right.
But there's no way that a real undercover mission could take so little time. But also, if anyone were operating with a real ticking clock to stop a terrorist, they wouldn't take the time to put somebody undercover. They would just haul in the person for questioning. Like, it's
right. They would do what Jack Bauer does, which is drag them in and
put them in a chair and torture them. Yeah. Yes. So, yeah, it's fine. So, but it is kind of funny, because it's like, if you were going into this thinking that Jensen Ackles is the Jack Bauer of the show, he is the opposite of Jack Bauer. He is not torturing people. He is frequently going into situations where he then gets tortured, or gets, somebody's threatening to kill him or whatever. Like, I
mean, that did happen a lot to Jack Bauer also.
True.
Nobody's paying attention to it, but Max tried to do this elevated procedural thing with Duster, and Duster's turned into be a bit of a dud too.
Really?
It's just not really going anywhere, not very interesting. It's like, it does remind me of that old J.J. Abrams series that went nowhere, that was just kind of mid.
Which one?
Which show?
I think it had Kerry Washington, is that right?
Oh, Undercovers?
Undercovers, yeah.
Oh. Did he create? I don't think he created that. Wasn't he just producing?
Well, everybody called it a J.J. Abrams show.
Right, but
and they call this a J.J. Abrams show, even though he isn't.
Well, he co-created this at least.
Right. I don't think he's not show running or writing.
Oh, he did co-create Undercovers.
Mm. This just feels very
now available on Tubi.
Oh, nice. Anyway, don't get invested in that show either.
So there's a lot of shows that could be good but aren't really. But if you are a fan of what's his face from Lost or Jensen Ackles,
Sure.
like, you know, at least you can watch them on TV again.
Yeah.
They're
what
handsome.
A time. They're very handsome. What a time to be alive.
You know who else is handsome?
Josh Hartnett?
Yes, I was going to say Jeremy Allen White, but that makes sense as well.
Okay. Yeah.
This is our transition to the bear.
It is now.
Well, yeah.
Which I will briefly talk about and say that I loved this season, except for the final episode, which I hated. But the first 9 episodes, I loved. There's a couple of standout episodes like they do every season, and this one is the big wedding. Bears is where the whole family, everybody gets together. Mulaney comes back, and we meet Brie Larson's character. And then Gillian Jacobs is there and Josh Hartnett. It's really just one of the best episodes of television of the year. And I'm sure it'll be submitted for Emmys and whatever. I don't know. It's fantastic. People have had some frustrations with the season because I guess it's not, the restaurant plot doesn't advance very much, and it hasn't really advanced very much over the last 3 seasons now. I don't know that bothers me, and because the family stuff is kind of what I'm more invested in.
Right.
But also I think people have issues with all the needle drops, which I also don't mind because those songs are like from my head, and I feel very connected to every single one of those needle drops. I'm like, oh my God, this feels like I'm a teenager and I'm mooning over something, and I'm just sitting in my room and staring at the ceiling with headphones on. Only I get to watch the bear while I'm doing it.
Wow, the bear licensed Guster?
Oh, I don't. Sorry. There's a Pearl Jam or an Eddie Vedder cover of a song this season. I don't remember what it was. Oh my God, it just like fucking killed me. It's so good.
There's a cover of a Guster song.
Dan.
It was Eddie Vedder doing Blues Traveler.
Oh.
But the Blues Traveler song you like.
The hook.
The jokey me likes Blues Traveler and Gin Blossom, but the real me likes, really good Dylan songs, really good like Americana folk music, and Eddie Vedder.
I was going to say Bob Dylan is a joke.
You genuinely like Blues Traveler.
Yeah, okay, yes. I love Blues Traveler.
Dustin, there's nothing wrong with liking Blues Traveler.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know what you did, but your sound just went... It's fine, but it went down.
Again.
The volume went down.
I'm not doing anything.
I don't know, but you did something.
I actually thought Dan turned you down. Like, that's enough of you.
You'd think. I wish
Is this better?
That is better.
Okay.
Okay, so then what was the problem with the last episode? So wait, so when you say it was a 10-episode season, that's season 4.
Yes.
Because I know you also said season 3 felt like half of a season.
Season 3 was like a nothing of a season. It was like a departure. It was like a side story.
Okay. So it wasn't that it... Okay.
I would say season 3 is like... It's just like the... And I haven't seen season 4 yet. Not really, but... season 3 felt very indulgent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like it's kind of like no one will say no, so they're gonna do all the extra stuff that they want to do. Like it's like, oh, what if we get this person? What if we get that person? What if we can get all of these people in a room together?
Yeah.
And then like it doesn't matter what happens there. It's just look at all the people we got together.
Right.
Like it has that kind of feel.
It's such a diversion that when I started season 4 basically feels like it picks up where season 2 left off. And that feeling was so sort of like overwhelming that I stopped season 4 to make sure that I was watching the right season. If that makes sense.
I almost wonder if I should skip season 3 and go straight to 4, but I can't do that.
I don't like. Was Molly Gordon in season 3 even?
She's in season 3, mostly in flashback or in like bits to like fill in like his emotional state over the course of the season.
Right.
There's the one scene near the end of season 3 where the facts go talk to her. And like I think that might be one of the only times we actually see her in real time. Otherwise it's mostly flashback. She's mostly just kind of like in his mind.
Right. So it's sort of like that picks up where it left off. The family situation picks up where it left off in season 2. My issue is the last episode. It's Carmy. Like, I love the guy, and Jeremy Allen White has a tendency to play these characters now. He did it in Shameless, and he did it here, where he never he never gets that satisfying conclusion or that victory. It just never comes for him, and it's gotten really frustrating. I mean, 11 seasons of Shameless, and you never had that moment where he like has a victory, and now you feel like we're 4 seasons in, and he still hasn't figured his shit out enough. Like everybody else is sort of like evolved and grown, and Jeremy White Allen's character Carmy has just gotten to the point where he realizes he needs to do that, but we're not there yet.
Isn't the problem though that when he learns his lesson, the show's over?
Right.
Or like when he finishes evolving, the show is over?
Yes. And like when the restaurant succeeds, I guess the show is over.
Right.
But that's...
Or fails.
Yes. And that's a huge frustration with the show. I mean, after the first season, you could sort of like, oh, they decide to open a different restaurant. And that was a fun way to sort of like shake it up. But now it's just like, do you fail or do you thrive?
Yeah.
But it
also,
could...
now that I'm thinking about it... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying it could be like a really good workplace drama. You don't have to make it about whether the restaurant succeeds or fails.
Except...
Yeah, but that's the path they're on.
Yeah.
I know.
Because it's also, I mean, those are the stakes. And I think that him having perhaps a slower personal growth arc is also, I mean, my impression of it was always like people who work in those sort of kitchens, especially like chefs running restaurants or whatever, like that work takes up just so much of their time and mental energy. Like it is distracting. They do not have anything left to focus in on themselves. And so I think that like that's also part of the commentary on kitchen life, on restaurant, you know.
The other characters have grown. They have evolved. They've found stories, and they've been able to incorporate that back into their work life.
But it's not all resting on their shoulders. Like that's the whole point. Like he has invited them on this journey with him to, you know, and when they agreed, that was a stretch for them. When they, whatever, like, their participation in growth is much more immediate because this is not for all of them, their world.
Right.
It is for him. He, you know, and yeah, I mean, so I would buy that his personal, whatever, development would be delayed because he's, and also that it's not that the job makes it delayed for him. It's that like you know, the kind of person who chooses to do that is maybe choosing to run a restaurant and be a chef and do all these things to avoid, like you fill up your time, you do this outwardly so that you don't have to turn that inward. I'm not saying every chef is doing it for avoidance, but I can see that, you know, it goes both ways. I don't know. I need to still watch the season to see if I feel, but like
Well, this season, there's a lot also about how Carmi has sort of lost his passion for the job. He's bored with his job. And you can sort of, there's a sense that maybe that Christopher Storer feels the same way about the show. Like he doesn't know what to do with the show. He doesn't know how to advance it. What does he do? Maybe he's bored with it. I mean, it's still, I really do think it's fantastic. But the first few episodes are kind of a rough start before it gains some momentum, where you could sense that maybe he is just like struggling to figure out. And there's a lot of like tone poems, which people complain about. But again, I love them.
Right.
But I understand why people would have issues. If you don't like those songs, or if those songs don't speak to you, then those are probably really annoying.
I never understand the complaint of like, the music annoyed me or the music took me out of it.
Yeah, I don't think it's not the music. It's just the montages. Like there are a lot.
Okay, that's fair.
Where it's just like, we're going to try to tell a story through these songs and then people sort of like moving. Yeah.
Rather than, my favorite example of that, not using a song specifically to tell the story, but like of just a montage in a place where it shouldn't be. Do you remember Jersey Girl? The Kevin Smith movie?
Kevin Smith? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So this was like when Kevin Smith decided to make his like grown up personal movie about like having a kid and all this stuff, right? But you could tell he was very uncomfortable being sincere in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a little too personal, and I think he like didn't quite know how to operate in that space. So given the story structure, like there comes a point with the Ben Affleck character where it's supposed to be him kind of finally deciding to like do the job he's in rather than focus on the job he left behind to take care of it, whatever, right? And it's all about him bringing his skills from his former job to bear with his new position. And it's this, he's supposed to give a rousing speech at this like big meeting. And when it comes time for him to do it, it just turns into a montage and you don't hear a word he says.
I think I do remember that.
You remember that? And it's this thing of like, everyone hated the movie. And for me, it was like, I didn't actually hate the movie. Like George Carlin was good in it. I really liked some of the school play stuff where it's like Sweeney Todd or whatever. Like a lot of it's fine. But that moment, I remember like the first time I watched it, I was like, you could literally pinpoint like, there's the mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I remember that.
You literally, that is not what, like we needed to hear him do it. Like this is his moment. This is the last thing to do a montage on, Right.
And then Will Smith was randomly in that movie, right?
Yeah. Just a cameo. Yeah.
I don't remember this. I mean, I remember the movie existing. I don't remember anything about it. Yeah.
Well, I would just also add that the final episode, there is none of that. It's basically a three-hander. Can you call it that? It's just three people talking for 35 minutes. And that's where everything sort of like comes to a head, like the whole season. It just comes to a head in this sort of like play. And
what you're saying is that it's almost the perfect episode of TV.
And you hated it.
I didn't hate it for that. I hated it for what they decided. Because it's more of that just sort of, Jesus Christ, there's never going to be a satisfying conclusion to the show. Until
what do they decide? What do they...
I'm not going to tell you. Dan,
just tell me.
Dan, no, I'm not going to tell you.
I'm going to watch it.
Here, I'll take off my headphones. You guys, you tell
I don't want to spoil it for the readers. This is a really big one. Like, it's a big deal what they decide.
Are they closing the restaurant?
I'm not going to
go on Top
tell
Chef.
you. But it's going to decide how, I mean, it's basically how the fifth season is set up. Or maybe the end. It's not going to be the end because I'm sure they're going to renew it. But it could be the end if they wanted it to. But it would be a really frustrating end. But for me, it was just a frustrating end to the season. Again. as it is every fucking season. Remember in the season 2, you're like, it's all building up. We just need this review and it'll save us. And then he ends up getting like a mixed review.
No, I remember the end of that season being that
That's the end of season 3.
Season 2, the ending is he finally, it's like the opening night of the restaurant and everything's going well, except that he like totally blows it up with the girl.
Yeah.
Like he almost had his restaurant and the love, and he like fucks it up with her.
Oh, so season 3 was the review they were waiting on.
Yeah.
And then they get the review and it's a mixed review. And then season 4, they're like, the only way to save this restaurant is to get a Michelin star. And then that doesn't even factor in ultimately. Like the clock is kind of bullshit too. There's this clock that says when the time runs out, then we're out of money and we have to shut down the restaurant.
Yeah.
So it gives us the season a sense of urgency, but ultimately the clock is not that relevant to what happens. But that's all I'm going to say about The Bear, except that whatever, even at its worst, which is season 3, it's better than most things.
Yeah.
It's a really good season that only season 3 suffers because it's being compared to the first season of the second season.
Yeah.
And season 4 is really good. It's as good, I think, as the second season.
Okay.
So so season 3 is their Friday Night Lights season 2.
Yes.
Okay.
So it is the season for Tori to watch.
So I am going to love it.
Well, season 3 is frustrating. You have to wait a year for this show, and then you get a year, and all those episodes come, and everybody watches them in like 2 days because once you start, you can't stop. Okay, not Dan, but I watched them in 2 days, and then you're done, and you're like, "Fuck, I have to wait another year for anything to happen." So there's a lot of frustration in that too.
What you're saying is that some people who waited to watch season 3 until like 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Pretty smart.
Yes, actually, that would have been.
For some
very
people
smart.
that are going to be able to binge them together back to back.
Yeah.
Not know where
smart.
one starts and one ends.
It almost seems like you should trust the people who bring you Mr. Show, Dustin, and just trust.
Fuck off.
Oh.
So Dustin, tell us how you felt about the second half of our Mr. Show watch.
Honestly, okay. So we watched 2 episodes in season 3 and 3 an episode in season 4.
Yes.
Season 3, I was genuinely starting to like it, and then season 4 just fucking blew. It sucked.
I probably should have given you more of season 3. Those 2 episodes in season 3 are excellent, and there are more excellent episodes in season 3. I think there are more good sketches per episode in season 3.
Yeah, I mean, that second episode of season 3, I liked the whole episode.
Yeah.
The lawyer and the blowjob. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That was fucking hilarious.
Why did I? Yeah.
I don't know why. I felt like when you gave me 4 or 3 season 4 episodes that at that point you were trolling me because I was like, I got my son in and I was like, hey, will you watch some of these? Because maybe there's something wrong with me and why am I not finding this funny? And he watched an episode and a half and he was like, I'm going upstairs now.
Yeah, bye. Oh yeah, that episode, pre-taped call-in show.
Pre-taped call-in show is
classic.
Amazing.
Okay,
so
pre-taped call-in show was funny.
Pre-taped call-in. No, that's in season 3.
Oh, that was season 3.
Season 3. Yeah. So season 3, the reason those 2 episodes I gave you, obviously Mayor of Television. I wanted you to see particularly the lie detector sketch.
Love that. Yeah.
Which is just brilliant to me. And the pre-tape call-in show, like those 2. But yeah, all of it. They were talking about Blowjob, Titanica, like all of it's great. The episodes I chose for season 4, and season 4 was really a challenge because I was never a big fan of season 4. But what would happen is there would always be one sketch that I loved in an episode I remembered nothing else about, and that remains true to this day. So I can tell you which sketch I loved in each episode. But like,
okay.
So
wait, should we guess?
The first episode,
which one the story's favorite?
The law school sketch. I like that one a lot.
You like that one? No, it was actually, I love the lifeboat sketch. I love, like, the title of the episode is Life is Precious and God in the Bible. And I
did not care for that.
I
I
just
got
love
what
that
it was doing, but
yeah. It's not the cleverest sketch. I don't know why I really like that one. Obviously.
Wait, what was the next? What were the sketches in the next one?
So the next one was the episode called "The Story of Everest."
Yeah.
Oh, that one just went. The thimble thing, I could see why that could be funny, and the fact that it goes on forever is supposed to make it funnier.
Yeah.
But I think
it's just not your thing.
No,
I also love food ads in that one.
Yeah.
The increasing attacks on Ferris Foods for no reason.
For no reason. They do a lot of ad-based sketches that are great.
Yeah. There is, I will say, I think, now, Dustin, I understand you don't like this show, and that's fair. But I think every once in a while you can see a vein of like, oh, Tim Robinson probably watched this and was like, oh, I love that. And then
I did see that.
Obviously does his version.
Yeah.
And the law school sketches where I thought I saw that just got really wild and loud.
Absurd.
And I did find that funny.
I think, the last episode I had you guys watch, which was episode 8 of season 4, the Civil War reenactments. That one, that was my favorite because I'm like, it was just such, to me, it's like taking the Ken Burns very serious documentary, but making it about the people who do reenactments, and then the transition where it's all the different people, all the different kinds of cosplay nerds showing up and fighting over the same park. Because it's, if you've ever been around like cosplay nerds, I mean, it just like makes a lot of sense. So you've got like the Civil War reenactors and the Renaissance Fair people, but then it's the Trekkies who show up who want to pretend they're on a holodeck.
Right.
And the other two groups are mad at that because they're like, no, you guys keep doing that. You show up. I love that. I think that
the way you describe it is funnier to me than
what it was
experience of watching it.
But no, I mean, I agree with you that season 3, I think, is the best season of the show. And it really feels like what they are building up from season 1 to season 2. Like it comes together in season 3. Like the cast is working, the writing's there. They kind of hit their stride. And then for some reason, I'm not sure, season 4 just kind of like the wheels kind of fall off. They still have some good ideas. And that's why I was like struggling. Because I was like, there are good sketches, but they're not all in one episode. It's hard to so.
I can see myself watching a few more season 3 episodes. I really started to get into it there for a minute.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad. Yeah, I would recommend, like, if we were doing a different version, if this had been like just watch one season of the show, I would have said season 3, no questions.
Yeah.
Like just watch season 3. Because I didn't even get to do like Bad News Breakers. Like they had some really, I think, more of their, I don't know, I think more interesting and more variety. But some stuff also feels kind of SNL-y. Like,
which I like.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why I'm like, all right.
Yeah. But when you said that season 4 got bad, I thought that would mean that I would like it more. But no, it was just bad. No.
I think it's interesting that, I mean, I'm not surprised that like the sketches I liked from it are not the ones that you liked from it, but that we all have like kind of same reaction to season 4, which is like, it isn't as good. There's some stuff there, but per episode, it's just like.
So what about the Bob and David show? Was that any good?
I remember nothing about it. I remember watching it and being very happy it existed and then being like, and moving on with my life. You might actually like it more. I think it's, I need to go back and rewatch it because I remember, I don't think it was bad. But it's not Mr. Show and it's not, because it's just like they've changed, time has changed, comedy has changed. It's not like they can redo Mr. Show and nobody would want them to.
Right.
But I don't know that what they did come up with. It was fine. I should rewatch it and give it more thought.
I think I went to a tape.
Oh.
And I don't remember anything about it.
Right, yeah.
Or it might have been like a test, like not the actual taping,
Yeah.
but like they were in like the ramp up. They were doing practice runs.
Yeah.
It was really fun to see Michael McKean in with Bob Odenkirk, considering that 20 years later they would become co-star. Is he in more of season 4 or just that one?
I can't remember. I think he might just be in that one. I mean, they would get like random guest stars because they had a lot of like just friends that would pop up.
I had forgotten that Scott Adsit was on the show.
Yeah.
Until watching season 4. Oh,
yeah.
He looks just younger, but basically the same.
So anyway, I mean, I think
it was a good experience. I'm glad that I now have seen.
Can say you've seen it.
Yeah.
And maybe you'll go back and watch some season 3.
Right. I'm glad that I found something that I enjoyed in it too.
I'm glad too. That makes it.
And now because Declan was so turned off by season 4, I now want to go and show him because it wasn't funny when I watched it, but after hearing you describe it and thinking about it, him and his iguana is funny.
It's so funny.
Yes. Like it sticks with you, and thinking of him as an iguana is very funny.
Like that is, and that's what so that one is one of those things where the sketch itself isn't like the setup, the other characters, like none of that matters. Mm-hmm. It's just that they put Bob Odenkirk in that green leotard and he plays it so seriously.
Like I'm trying to think, because I knew Bob Odenkirk somehow before Breaking Bad, but how did I know him?
It wasn't as an SNL person.
He was a writer.
Ben Stiller show?
Yeah.
Maybe. I did like the Ben Stiller show.
I mean, you I'm sure you had seen him and stuff.
Yeah.
Generally.
It feels like I was excited to see him in Breaking Bad, but I don't know why. Maybe that's just retroactive thinking.
I'm going to find the thing that you definitely loved him from.
Oh, Larry Sanders Show? Was that something that you were into?
Sound like a Dustin.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. No, it really wasn't Ben Stiller show. I feel like that's kind of like something that you would love.
Yeah, it might have been, but that was so long before. I felt like I must have seen him something in like the 2000s.
In the 2000s, a lot of one-off stuff.
He had minor parts in films such as Wayne's World 2, The Cable Guy, Can't Stop Dancing, and Monkey Bone.
Wow. So he really did hit a career lull after SNL.
It wasn't a lull. He was just like a working, like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
No, and that was before. That was like kind of... he did have small parts on things like Everybody Loves Raymond, News Radio, Just Shoot Me.
Like he would show up in stuff.
He showed up in stuff a lot, so you probably...
Dustin obviously loved him from Tom Goes to the Mayor.
I've never heard of it. No.
Of course you haven't.
Yankers.
Oh my God.
You're a big Crank Yankers guy.
Nope, never was. No.
He was Dr. Gunty on Arrested Development for one episode.
Oh, I'm sure I knew him from that. It's so weird.
Ed, Dustin, he was in one episode of Ed.
I'm sure I saw it.
The hit Tom Cavanaugh series, Ed.
It is weird to think of him and David Cross as being comedy partners at some point.
I actually feel like you must have like seen him in like Larry Sanders, because I feel like that's where most people knew him from. If you didn't know him from there,
probably yes.
I also think it's funny that because you said you don't like Tim and Eric.
Well, I watched a couple of sketches. Like I'd never seen it before, but just after watching Mr. Show, I watched a couple of sketches to see if that was my kind of thing, and it wasn't.
And it's just not, yeah. Because it's Bob Odenkirk is the one that got them.
Oh,
like, he helped them develop Tom Goes to Mayor, and then helped them, like, he basically helped launch Tim and Eric.
Huh.
So he kind of, he spent, I mean, he obviously, like, aside from performing, spent so much time writing on all these different shows, but he also kind of stepped in as this yeah, he helped elevate other talent that was like, he helped create this scene, like some of this, which is why I also love it when you see, like, when he pops up in I Think You Should Leave or whatever, like when you actually get him and Tim Robinson together on screen, you're like, what?
I should mention Squid Game.
Oh, yeah.
Briefly.
Sure.
Squid Game happened. If you've seen the first season, you've seen the second and the third season, which shouldn't have been 2 seasons. That's all. I mean, there's not much else to say about it.
All right.
Congratulations to Netflix.
Yeah, I'm sure it's
continuing.
very popular. Just watching people you get slightly attached to die. Although this season, there wasn't as many people to get attached to.
Because so many of them died at the end of the second season.
Yeah. And also, you just knew it was coming, so you knew not to get too attached.
Yeah. That's true.
Sounds like they should have done a season where nobody dies, and they all have absurd plot armor. Just to pick that.
And then they all survive, and nobody gets a lot of money, so none of it was worth it.
Yeah.
Because they have to divide it 100 ways.
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
They all vote to end the game in episode 3.
And then they go get beers. They just hang out.
There is a surprise cameo at the end, which was stupid, but whatever.
Also, Josh Hartnett. Amazing.
Josh Hartnett was not in this. Damn.
I don't know. I haven't seen it. It could be Josh Hartnett.
I did have that cameo spoiled for me, and it's great. But Josh Hartnett could have done it. Would have been great.
He could have.
Would have been as good.
I mean, really, anybody could have done it because it was a nothing cameo.
Yeah. I mean, it was wordless. I don't think they said mostly a line wordless. Of dialogue. Yeah.
I think they had one line.
Yeah. It's
yeah.
So that happened.
I will get to it when I am done watching all of Taskmaster.
Oh, you got a while. All 18 previous seasons.
I don't know if I'm going to watch all, but I will watch.
Every single season is great.
Really? Even the early ones?
Oh, the earlier ones were the best.
Oh, okay. Also, I can't believe that the show has 19 seasons and they've only been around since 2015, which I know means they do 2 a year. And
what? 2015. Was not that far ago.
Yeah, but it was also a decade ago. And
that's crazy.
Right, so.
That doesn't seem right when you're...
Yeah. I think the second season may be the best.
Okay. Is that one of the James Acaster seasons? It doesn't matter. I'm sure I'll get around to it.
It might have been, but there was another guy who was in that show that Tori had us watch, the LOL.
Oh.
Jimmy Carr?
No, God, no.
I don't know.
What, Mortimer? Or whatever his name was?
No, Mortimer is in it in one season. He's great. You'll end up loving.
Wait, has Richard Ayoade ever done it?
No, and that's the thing that everybody's
waiting for.
Why isn't?
Because he seems like he would be great.
Yeah, he does. Maybe they're saving him for the 20th. But almost everybody else that you've seen in British comedy has been on that. Yeah.
That's why they had to start bringing on Americans.
Yes, I guess so.
Destroy everything.
But are there any other Americans other than Mantzoukas that you'd want to see on the show? I
feel like there are a number of improvisers from that era, that that like generation of comedians who
Yeah.
would go unhinged in a way that, I mean, it's a different energy than Mantzoukas, but
Yeah.
like, I don't know, like
You can't
I
be
would watch
too
Ben.
unhinged.
Yeah, but I would watch like Ben Schwartz on
Yes.
that show.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
Sam Richardson would
I
be
mean,
great.
or Sam Richardson.
I mean, don't pander to me.
But so many of the people that have been on the show have gone on. You wouldn't recognize so many of them,
Yeah.
like Aisling B.
Ailing, yeah, B.
Yeah.
And I think both of the people from Great British Baking Show were on separate seasons.
I know Nick Mohammed's been on at least one season.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that was, if there is a weak season, that was it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because of him? Because you hate Nick Mohammed?
I don't hate Nick Mohammed. He wasn't very good on it.
Wow.
He wore sometimes people decide to wear a particular costume for all the challenges, and his was dumb, and it got old very quickly. But it's disappointing when you recognize someone and that person is the weak link of that particular season. When all of these people that you don't know, but then you get to know them. It's a great show. I love it.
Yeah.
And it's really the best show to watch with other people.
My favorite part about the whole thing is still the fact that the guy who created it made himself the sidekick.
Yes, it's fantastic.
Which is just kind of like the perfect level of energy for this show.
Yeah,
I really respect that. Anyway,
well,
that's like on this show.
But it's also because the person who then he hires to be like is Greg Davies. All I can ever think of when I see him is that ridiculous story he told on Graham Norton. Oh my God, I rewatched that this weekend. It's the best. It is the best story, really, but it's just like, it's one of those clips that is like, you can't get away from it. And it's all I can think about. So it's so funny that he's like the one in charge and like the serious whatever. And I'm like, you wore your mother's knickers while shitting yourself. And the deaf kid heard you on the microphone. And Ryan Gosling thought it was hilarious.
Anyway, that's our show for this week. Who knows what we will talk about next week?
We don't.
Out of the,
I have no idea. If there's anything even to talk about.
I will probably have seen at least one episode of The Bear. But are any of you watching Ironheart?
I am not.
Oh no. Yeah.
Right.
No.
But I did start.
Premiered?
9
puzzles.
Cases. 9 puzzles. I did start. I'm like an episode and a half in.
Yeah.
And I'm digging it. Yeah. I like that kind of show.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll try to jump in.
And we can talk about it so many times without talking.
Yeah. Oh, we'll talk about Dan to Dan, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we'll talk about cartoons, Dustin. Don't worry.
Great.
Anyway, that's the show. We will be back next week. Happy 4th for those of you who care about that. I don't know. Day off.
Celebrating seems like a strong word.
Well, celebrate that you hopefully have a day off and you can rest.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Oh my God.
We got to turn his.
We got to turn him down. Yeah.